Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar today, whereby we'll be discussing and demonstrating some of the benefits when using best-of-breed technology in healthcare, and namely PSIM. So I'm Richard McClellan. I'm the Sales Director for Advancis UK and Ireland, and today I'm joined by my colleagues Patrick Geldmacher. Hopefully I got that right, Patrick. He's our International Sales Manager, and Allan Dickinson, also, who's our Technical Manager for the UK and Ireland. So all our contact details are on there, and we'll share this again at the end of the webinar. So the webinar is going to be a blend of a few slides just to set the scene in terms of who we are as a business and PSIM in general. And then an actual demonstration of our open integration platform, WinGuard, to demonstrate some of the use cases and possibilities within a hospital environment within healthcare. So we'll give you a very brief introduction to Advancis, as some of you won't be fully aware of us, and then we'll set the scene in relation to the challenge that open integration or PSIM solves in general, but in today's case within healthcare. Then we'll move on to the good stuff, a live demonstration whereby we'll be showcasing some actual use cases relevant to healthcare. If you do have any questions, we'll have a short Q&A at the end where I'll direct any questions raised to our presenters, and there's a chat function on the right-hand side of the webinar control panel that you've got where you can post questions as and when. So in terms of Advancis, we're a global leader in what's known as the PSIM industry. We're headquartered out of Frankfurt, Germany, but we have offices in several countries and a certified partner network that spans the globe. The company is 26 years old now, and we've developed a truly open software platform. So we're vendor neutral, we don't manufacture any hardware, and we're completely agnostic. And we've now got over 450 supported system integrations and over 1,900 successfully realized projects globally. And specifically in healthcare, we have over 140 live systems across lots of different countries. Our open integration platform, WinGuard, which we'll show you today, unifies the control of security, building automation, IT, and communication systems. But most essentially, WinGuard provides operators with an instant picture for full situational awareness, command and control of all connected subsystems, and then supports the operator with dynamic workflows for event handling. So the challenge we regularly face within hospitals and other large estates is the multitude of different disparate systems within a building or across an infrastructure of an estate. This varies from legacy technology to new technologies which are deployed and maintained from different budgets within an organization and different departments. So what this results in is lots of devices or endpoints, as we call them, whether that be CCTV, intruder, fire detectors, IoT sensors, intercoms, for example. These are all connected to the respective automation layers, whether that's control panels, MVRs, servers, or even to the cloud, for example. And what this actually results in is very fragmented management of all those systems. So each one needing individual training and a lot of resource to manage. Compliance is also difficult to enforce. Audits and reporting are also challenging. So the basic premise of implementing, a best-of-breed PSIM can address this challenge by using feature-rich interfaces to third-party subsystems and providing that single management platform. So not replacing any of them, but layering over the top, and hence reducing resources required and increasing security and compliance as well. In relation to the integration possibilities within healthcare, or specifically a hospital environment, we can look initially at safety and security systems such as fire, CCTV, access control, intruder detection, emergency lighting, electronic key management, for example, all systems that we're very familiar with. Then now we're seeing much more possibilities to connecting systems for the built environment and looking more at smart building concepts to achieve other efficiencies. So connecting in building management systems like Trend or Honeywell EBI, for example, HVAC systems, and then IoT devices such as temperature sensors, humidity sensors, quality, for example, to achieve efficiencies and make buildings a lot more intelligent. Furthermore, we can then start to connect in communications and IT infrastructure, i.e. SIP systems such as Cisco and Avaya VoIP systems, monitoring UPSs or network switches through such interfaces or protocols as SNMP. Now, with the PSIM, we overlay these interfaces with applications such as digitized operating procedures and enhanced reporting capabilities in the form of guided workflows, which you'll see in the demonstration shortly. So that just sets the scene for us, and now I will hand over to my colleague Allan Dickinson, who's going to give you an overview initial of our platform and some of the dashboard technology before we get into the actual use case examples. Allan, over to you.
Thanks, Rich. I think we just need to swap screens over, so let me just bring up my WinGuard screen. Okay, great stuff. So my part in today's webinar is just to give you an introduction to WinGuard and the basic overview as to how WinGuard looks and the features available on the main WinGuard screen and how a system will go together. So following that, then we'll give you some overview as to how things can work within WinGuard, how different things event into WinGuard, and how that's dealt with using standard operating procedures and dynamic workflow technology. But I'll pass you to Patrick for that. So for my little bit, this is just to give you an overview as to how WinGuard can look. WinGuard is very dynamic in the way that we set up the application. That means that every user, every client can have a different layout, different functionality set, and a different look and feel in essence. So what that means is that, for example, just to give an initial instance of that, we currently have the dark, what we call the dark flat look for our system here. But very quickly, if we would like, or if there's a preference in look and feel, we can change the look and feel of the application and reskin the application for lots of reasons. Not only some people prefer a different look and feel, but also if we have any disabilities such as color blindness within the organization, it allows us to change that look and feel so that we can actually have account for everybody within the organization and the way they like to work. My preference is to run the dark look, so I'll perform my demonstration using that. This is our demo panel, as such our demo home screen. However, most clients will probably start with something that looks a little like this. So this is one of our dashboards, and I'll show you come and give you some more detail on this as and when I get to this section and give you some more examples of what's possible. But to give you an overview of how WinGuard, what the features are that you're seeing, at the bottom here we have the event bar, and the event bar gives you the ability to have different tabs which can be completely customized, and the tabs will allow you to see different events, whether that be by priority, by event type, and we can set these up according to customer requirements. So it could be that each different discipline, such as BMS, intruder, fire, CCTV events, analytics, etc., can all be brought into the different tabs and prioritized so that the operators find it very, very simple to know exactly what they're dealing with, and they can all be color coded to match etc. And again, this can be extended, made bigger, made smaller to suit. Down the left-hand side, we have options for the different locations. Now, depending on how big the organization is, if there's multiple buildings, then we would simply use our location technology, and I'll explain to you how that works in a second. But for larger organizations, we do have the option to use what we call segmentation. And segmentation allows us to segment data and only make certain portions of data available to specific parts of the organization. But I don't want to labor too much on that section. Locations up here in the left, but can be relocated, say, to the right-hand side of the screen if people prefer. We have an option to use tree view. So tree view is quite common for most users in today's PC environment, PC use environment. And what we can do here is have the ability to drill into CAD plans, etc. You can see that here I've just launched the administration block within Company, and Company then gives me a CAD plan where I can start to overlay different detection, such as fire alarm systems, intruder zones, access control doors, etc., and the list goes on. So we have the ability to import raw DWG files into here, and so where there is a requirement, link directly out to CAD servers, so that if, for example, within hospitals, there can be lots of change, especially given the current circumstances. There can be lots of change over rooms, changing into different use, etc. WinGuard has full editing capabilities of DWGs built into the application, and it makes it really easy for the operator to move things around. So as you can see, we can move around the floors, and as we move around the floors, the plans change, and we have the ability to create quick buttons, such as the ones here. Let me just move into this one, such as the ones here, which gives us the ability to set and unset the intruder detection systems, dependent on day and night settings, or ad hoc as and when we require. Down below the location section, we also have what we call data points. In Advancis world, we call them data points, but these are basically endpoints. So CCTV cameras, fire detectors, intruder detectors, access control doors, BMS points, temperature sensors, etc. And you'll see if I go into all locations, I get it very much broken down by discipline. But as I go down into, for example, a floor, all of this is filtered for you, so you only see what is relevant to that particular location you're working. And then you can, for example, drag and drop cameras onto the CCTV screens as and when required. Normally, this would be more of a two-screen app, but here, for example, I'm just showing you how the second screen would look with the video application laid over the top. But for today, we're obviously only with one screen due to the demonstration that we have. The last two things from my point of view to show are all of this has the ability to be layered onto Google Maps or Esri, and OpenStreet View will be coming shortly as well into the application. That gives you the ability to put external cameras or external detectors or barriers, etc., on the external maps. And then once you drill into the actual site, you can then see the internal sensors, etc. Last but not least, as I said, I'll come back to dashboards. Dashboards are increasingly making a large part of our application. And dashboards basically give us the ability to take everything that is recorded in the workflows that Patrick will show you shortly, and bring that into a more visible format where the management or even operators can sometimes find it easier to absorb. And especially for meetings, it's much nicer to take a pretty picture rather than a list of text information. So by clicking on the location you're interested in, we can then drill down and you can see things such as event types, reaction times by the security teams, how quickly they reacted to the event, how quickly the security teams arrived on site, different types of events, how many of each type of event have we had, what is most common within our environment, etc. As far as WinGuard goes, I think that's enough for my overview, but I will just quickly give you some quick examples of other dashboards that would be possible. So here you can see an opening page of a dashboard that was created for a different client, and it's possible to pull in things like statistics around time-based statistics. So when is the busiest time of the week, busiest month of the year, etc. in order to make planning much easier for security teams. So all of this is possible via the data that's collected via a PSIM and in the hospital environment. Again, it may be here, for example, that you may want to look at people detained by area of the hospital, number of incidents by the results, for example. So how are people responding, and how, you know, what are the results? Are we getting people arrested, or are we detaining people, or what are the results of the events? And these are just some examples of data that you can start to pull out with the dynamic dashboards. For my part, that's done. I think I need to hand over to Patrick. So yeah, over to you, Patrick.
Thanks, Allan. Let me share my screen. I think you have to pass on the presenter mode to me,
sorry,
right?
Patrick, doing it right now. There you go.
So yeah, I will start I will start a few alarms on my demo system here now and show how to process these security events in the guard room using WinGuard. So yeah, let's start with the first case, and let's assume that I'm working in the guard room of a closed psychiatric ward in a hospital or in an institution of psychiatric health. And the patients are wearing wristbands, so they can be localized, and we will know when one of them is leaving the ward. So some of these patients can be harmful to themselves or other people, so they have to be kept in a protected environment. Now, let me start the alarm here. We receive an alarm now in the guard room that a patient is leaving the closed ward. So I get the alarm down here in the alarm queue, and I will accept.
Patrick, we're seeing your demo panel, not the main WinGuard screen.
Oh, you are? Oh my gosh, okay.
Maybe move your the WinGuard screen over to.
Oh, I got it. This one here, right?
Okay, yep, that's it.
Okay, so you've not missed anything. I accepted the alarm, and on the main part of the screen here, we can see the floor plan of the ward, and the red blinking area is that closed psychiatric ward area, and the red dot the exact alarm location down here. There are two live camera pictures on the bottom showing us the inner and the outer door of the ward entrance area. And on these live cameras, nobody can be seen. So the person most likely already left the area. On the right side of the screen here, under the red alarm part, is the standard operation procedure workflow that Allan described in the beginning that I should follow now to resolve the event. So every operation here or every action here is confirmed by ticking the checkboxes on the first part here, and these operations are then logged in the WinGuard event log. The first item in the SOP workflow opens up a pop-up showing us an archived picture of the NVR in the second that the person passed the outer door of our ward area here, and WinGuard triggers the NVR to automatically send us this still picture with the alarm. So we can now check if we can identify the person and if it might be a patient. So by checking, I found that the person is in fact a patient that is not accompanied, as we can see here, by hospital staff, and most likely left the closed ward. So he's leaving the area unauthorized, and by following the workflow here, I mark this patient is leaving area unauthorized, and I will select this and move on with the workflow here. So we should now check if we can find him somewhere in the building by pushing the little camera symbol here. All related cameras in the building will automatically open on my WinGuard video wall that usually runs on a dedicated part of the guard room. Yeah, there's dedicated monitors for this. I will drag this over to our screen here. Can you see this, Allan?
Yep, we can. Yep, we can.
Great, very good. Here's a pan-tilt zoom camera that I can move around with my joystick here and start to look for the patient. So seems like he's not in the entrance area. He's also not in the basement here, so we cannot find him in the building. So we should, in the next step, call the building security downstairs using the integrated telephone panel. We can call them directly and talk to them and inform them of the situation. I will also attach a picture of the patient so they know who to look for. They can open this picture from within their WinGuard, or we can also send it to a certain email address if we would like. So in this case, I will attach it to the event, and it's down here under attachments. And the guards will now start to look for the patient. And while they do this, I will close and block the doors, the front doors, the main doors of our building here, so the patient cannot leave the building anymore, because if he leaves here, then it's going to be a lot harder to find him. And so we do this here by clicking on the lock symbol here. And to make sure that we have no false alarm and that everyone is informed, I will also call the psychiatric ward, and they can check inside of the ward if the patient went back in and we have a possible false alarm. On the other hand, the staff will also know details on the patient, and if there's anything we should be aware of, like if he's dangerous to other people and how to best approach him. So that we do here again with our telephone panel, which picks the right number for the ward. We talk to these colleagues and tell them. And after a while, I know we have to also do the cryptic PA announcement. So to also inform hospital staff and moving guards about the situation, I will send a cryptic message over the PA system here. So the message will contain content that is not understandable for visitors and people that do not belong to staff, to prevent any panic, but at the same time let staff know about the case and why the doors are closed. So by accessing here, we have an automatic recorded message that is played. And now we are done with the first part of our workflow here. And we have to wait for the guarding team to get back to us, which they do after a while. And they tell us they found the patient and detained him. So I can click yes here. By the way, if I click no, then the options are different. So this workflow is fully dynamic. And yeah, the situation is cleared. So we can unblock the doors by clicking here. So doors are open again, and everything should be going back to normal. I will also give a call usually to the ward and the security team to let them know that yeah, we found the patient and that the situation goes back to normal. As this is not an event that happens every day, we should also generate a report of the event and file it under a folder or print it out. These reports will be checked in security audits and might help later for insurance questions, possibly, yeah. So by clicking here on this PDF report button on the top right, this pops up this report that contains, in a nice summarized way, everything related to our event here, what has happened when, every action on the subsystems in a gapless log, and also everything that our user Andy has done in WinGuard to resolve this case. Also included are the attachments like the graphics and the patient that left the area. So that's quite easy and very handy. And yeah, as you can see, it's really easy to process a quite complex security event with WinGuard, as we get guided through the event step by step, and all related subsystems are integrated into the solving process. So let's file this away. So I click on complete here, and this now goes back to the event log, so stored for any time later if we need it again. And let me now start the next alarm. So we have an alarm incoming now from a parking deck. 1 second. So we have we are receiving an alarm from an emergency pillar in a hospital parking space. Somebody pushed the alarm button in a parking area here. So we again receive the alarm in the hospital guarding room, and I will accept it. It's easily possible to monitor multiple parkings also here from a central operations room. With WinGuard, is we are able to receive and manage all alarms from one central operator station. So after accepting the alarm, the first step in the workflow is to establish contact to the pillar and talk to the person over the intercom system. So I do this by clicking the intercom button here. And the event measures in this case include pre-written text that make communication really easy for the operator. So I will read this here. Hello, we have received your emergency call. Please stay calm. How can we help you? And the person on the pillar replies, I'm not in an emergency situation, but there's somebody here in the parking lot that seems to try to break open cars. So maybe you can investigate that. And yeah, we can now check the camera inside of the emergency pillar by clicking here to see if we can confirm the situation, which yeah, by looking at the camera picture, we cannot really do that. So nothing can be seen here. So let's again open our video wall and check the available cameras in the parking space. So by doing that, I see, okay, on the left side, there's the pillar again, and on the right side, we have the break-in situation while happening here. So I will, on the below part, we have the WinGuard Video Manager and VR control that we can use to do actions on recorded streams. So I paused the stream using the control here now. In the time bar that is just above here, we also have a marker showing the time of the emergency pillar alarm, which is the little blue sign here, the alarm sign. And I can go back in time just before the alarm by dragging this marker here and mark a section here in our NVR stream that shows the break-in for documentation then later. Yeah? So I put a start marker here, and just right after the alarm, I put an end marker. And yeah, I will extract the marked section as a video clip and attach it to the event now. We could also just extract the bookmarks, but in this case, we would like to make sure that we save really the clip here on the WinGuard server. So it's stored as long as we manually delete it, because anything that is stored on the NVR server might get overwritten after time by the cycles on there. So this is now attached here under attachments to the event and stored for later usage. Now, yeah, we can follow the operating procedure again. Is the person contactable? We say yes, because we just talked to the person on the emergency pillar. Is this a situation of danger? I would say yes, it is, or it might be, because we don't know if the thief is dangerous anyhow. So I will mark this with a yes. It's not a physical attack, but I should, of course, call the police. So I will do this here. We have the telephone panel again. We can do an external call, picks us the number of police, and we talk to these guys, and yeah, they will come quickly to see if they can arrest the thief. Also, we will inform the internal hospital security team, so they can investigate and make sure that the thief cannot leave the site before police arrives. So this is the end of operation, but before we close the case here, we should put a remark in the remarks section up here of the event that describes the burglar event. So anyone opening the event log later will have all the required information available. So we can put here something like car break-in, suspect was arrested by police. Maybe even a name if you have that, and then we can file it away into the log. Okay, so on to the next event. In the next event, I would like to show you how the integration of an access control system together with a video management system is realized in WinGuard. So I will generate the alarm here. And yeah, using a key card that does not contain any access right for a specific area, I am triggering an unauthorized access alarm in the WinGuard software. The access attempt is shown as an incoming alarm in the WinGuard event queue here, down here again. And yeah, hospitals and mental homes and other medical institutions have a lot of areas with restricted access. So this could be a surgery, it could be emergency station or a pharmaceutics area where Anna Schmidt, that is the card holder here, has no access being a visitor to the hospital. Yeah, so she's an invited visitor. That's why she has a key card here. As a first step in our workflow, the operator checks the image of the video camera installed in this area to see if the person that tries to access the area is the card holder Anna Schmidt, whose photo is shown on the card. And just right beside here, we have two camera pictures, two video pictures. The first one showing a live camera of the respective door that caused the alarm. And nobody can be seen here as the person is already gone. And the second picture is a recording from the NVR showing a still picture at the time of the alarm. So WinGuard triggers the NVR to send us this still picture automatically together with the incoming alarm. So comparing the NVR picture with the photo on the key card, the guy here on the right side with Anna Schmidt, we can see that this is not the same person. So we can check here, does the person look like the card holder? We will say no. Okay. Oh. 1 second. Oh, yeah, right.
That's why you couldn't edit the workflow.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, here we are again. No.
Click accept.
Where's that?
Accept here on the event bar. Just accept the event.
User fault. Sorry for that. I was one step further than WinGuard here. Yeah, talking and demoing is sometimes not that easy. So does the person look like the card holder? We say no, as we compared the two pictures here. So in the next step, we should disable the card of Anna Schmidt here, so it's not usable in the building anymore. And to achieve this, WinGuard sends a control command to the access control system that changes the access rights of the respective badge, of the badge of Anna Schmidt here. In the next step, the surrounding cameras are automatically shown on the WinGuard video wall to check whether the person is still somewhere nearby in the hospital building. So we click on the camera symbol here, and I'm checking the video pictures on the video wall again. And yeah, we can have a look now if we can find this person here somewhere in the building. Yeah, he's not in the entrance area down here by looking with the dome. He's also not in the office area. He's not in the basement. Maybe he's at the front desk somewhere because there's a few people moving around there. So yeah, in the next step, I should inform the guards and let them know that someone has been trying to use the key card of Anna Schmidt to get access to a restricted area, and that they should see if they can find this person. So yeah, at the same time, I can again transmit the picture of these guys, of this guy, to our colleagues of the security team. So I'll attach the image to the event, and the security team can now use their WinGuard app on their mobile phone that I have here reflected as a screencast from my mobile phone, and open the event on the mobile phone. So we have the attempt for unauthorized access here, and in there they will have all the information related to the event and to find the respective person. So we have the attachments in here. We have also the floor plan, yeah, so we can see the exact location of the alarm. We also have the photo of our guy here and anything else related to the case. So they can now move on and walk downstairs to the front desk and see if they can find the person. So we've done that. We will send a text message now to Anna Schmidt saying that her card has been blocked and she should get back to us to resolve the case. And yeah, after half an hour, the security guards might report back to the operator, to us in the guard center, that the searched person has been found and detained, and this is quite an unusual case. So yeah, the detained person could not reasonably explain why he has this key card, and therefore we should again generate a report here of the case that we can use later to hand over to management or maybe even to insurance. Okay, so that's that. Let's move on to the next, which I think yeah, we will do this the last one as we have used quite an amount of time already. So the next one is about fault management. It's a bit different than the cases we just had before. And I will start the alarm here again. So we have an incoming alarm from billing management. We are monitoring the health of hospital equipment that is of high importance. So cooling systems are important to keep room temperatures on a good level in summer times. For hospitals, of course, too high temperatures can cause substantial health issues to patients with severe sickness or injuries. The control room receives the alarm from an air conditioner here, and yeah, the air conditioner has a technical failure. So as we have an alarm on electrical equipment here, we should first be aware that there is a probability of fire coming from it through short circuit or similar. So the first thing we should do is pay increased attention to fire development, and then we should turn off the air conditioner. So we can do this here by integration of the building management system, that we can trigger the switch off on by the button here through the integration. And we are then going to inform the technical staff in form of Mr. O'Neill to walk down to the air conditioner and check for the possible reason of the alarm locally. So we call Mr. O'Neill and tell him about this, and he will walk there. And yeah, as he reports back after a while, it looks like we have a possible short circuit on the machine. So I can select here, it's a real alarm. I can also select different options here. So we have a short circuit, and I will put this here as the alarm reason. And yeah, now I can also create a ticket on an external ticketing system for the maintenance team. So the maintenance team is informed about the case and will schedule the repair of the machine. So we pass the further processing on to the responsible technical team for building management. And we can do this just by clicking the button here. This will create the ticket in the ticketing system. And yeah, this can be anything like Freshdesk, Zendesk, SolarWinds, or similar ticketing systems. And we can then also, if we like, monitor the status of the ticket here later. So as soon as the maintenance team has resolved the ticket, we will be informed about the new ticket status and that the air conditioner is back to work. Okay. So I think we have used up time for presentation. Sorry for the little hiccups here, but I think we we got the content. It's the most important. So I will hand over to Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick.
If I can.
So yeah, we've had a couple of questions come in. So I'm just putting our details back up on screen in case anyone wants to note them down. So we've had a couple of questions in, which I will quickly direct to our two experts. The first one is in relation to GDPR. So with the connection to lots of third-party systems, how does WinGuard ensure GDPR regulations are adhered to, Mr. Dickinson?
Thanks for that one. Right, okay, so GDPR and WinGuard. Where possible, within WinGuard and within the integrations, we do not try and collect data where we don't have to. So a good example of that would be if we link to the event that Patrick showed in regards to the access control, where we saw the picture of the lady on the access control card. That data is actually drawn from access control via passing an ID. So WinGuard will get an ID, for example, ID 123. That gets passed into the access control system, where the access system will then return the person's details to WinGuard. Them details are actually only ever cached, which actually means that cached means basically they're held in a bit of storage that's basically then deleted as soon as the event's taken place. So we never actually hold the first name, last name, etc. as far as a person. We only hold an ID which relates to that person within another system. That then makes it easy so that you're only holding data of people within one location. So wherever possible, we avoid using storing people's information, personal information within WinGuard. However, where that cannot be avoided, there are tools within WinGuard to remove people's data, where you can search for all information that you hold on a person name or a phrase, and that allows you then to delete the information, so the right to be forgotten as such within the GDPR protocol. So yeah, there is means to adhere to it, and there's ways to avoid having to store that data as well.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. I think yeah, it's a very can be answered in a lot of different ways, that question, and it does depend on the subsystem we're connecting to as well.
Absolutely does.
But yeah, there's you know, lots of ways and means to ensure that compliance is adhered to. So next question. So the demonstration given today looks very powerful and cutting edge. However, most hospitals have a wide variety of new and legacy infrastructure. How does your system manage and connect to legacy systems which hospitals have little or no budget to update? Patrick, do you think you answer this one?
Yes, I will try. So it's often the case in bigger state-owned environments like universities or hospitals that have a historical mix of legacy and newer end devices, as well as a mix in brands and products installed. And we overcome that by our ability to use our standard drivers like Modbus and OBC and others to talk to legacy equipment over converter equipment like serial to IP gateways.
Yeah.
This allows for easy integration with almost any equipment that has some type of serial connectivity for data exchange. And on the other hand, we have this really big variety of integrated products with over 450 interface drivers available that you can find on our website, by the way, if you want to look that up, that allow us to manage actually, yeah, let's call it the wildest mixed setups.
Yeah. Good. I think that answered the question.
Rich, just to add to that, we can, you know, like Patrick said, look on the website, but the business being sort of 26 years old gives us a huge list of them interfaces. So throughout the evolution of the security systems, the company's still been integrating. So therefore we have that huge list, and a lot of them do go back to the legacy system. So that gives us a huge benefit over other competitors.
Yeah, of course, we also have to say that this list is kind of dynamic. I guess we should add this. It's growing on a, yeah, let's call it weekly basis. As soon as we develop new interfaces, then they will pop up there. So it's just a momentum defined there.
Good. Excellent. So that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join, and if you need any or want any more information, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're all on LinkedIn if you've not got our details. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. The next one will be without hiccups. First one for me.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.